Ready? When you're ready, Lucia.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are Public Child Protection Wales. We started our organisation earlier this year. However, our members have been involved in supporting families, young people and children for many, many years with additional needs, educational support and gaps in the welfare system. Our aims of Public Child Protection Wales is found on our website www.publicchildprotectionwales.org. We ask everybody to visit our website where we have lots and lots of information regarding our current campaign, Education, Our Say, Our Way. So our aims for Public Child Protection Wales is as follows. Promote a high standard of safeguarding to the children of Wales, raise awareness of exploitation and abuse, campaign to ensure a wholesome approach to all aspects of education, ensuring parental carers' involvement remains at the heart of all developments, challenge Welsh Government and local authority policies which fail to safeguard, fight for the compulsory sexual education of children and compulsory in-depth CSA, CSE and HSV training for all those working for children and vulnerable people. Promote safer families and safer services and fight for additional investment into children and young people's services, and to give children and people of Wales a voice. So that's our aims, ladies and gents. You all know us for our recent campaign, which we've been putting all our resources into, because we believe that everybody needs to be aware of what is coming into Wales, or what is due to come into Wales in 2021. So I'm now going to pass this on to Kim, who's going to start it all off as to where this has all come from. Thank you, Kim.
Hi everyone. I usually do a bit of a presentation, but I haven't got the banner with me today, so I've got flow charts there if you want them. The first thing I want to make clear, we are not campaigning against sex education. We are not campaigning against sexual safeguarding. In actual fact, we want more. What we are campaigning against is the curriculum bill. We do not want sex education mandated from age 3 to 16 with no parental opt-out. Why don't we want this? Because we're part of a global rollout, guys. I'm going to tell you exactly about our rollout now. So we've got the World Health Organization, the United Nations, they've put up this plan to provide sex education for the world, okay? From the United Nations, we like children's rights, we all like children's rights, yeah? But this year we discovered that children also have sexual rights, okay? Now I'll go into that a bit later on now. So the first document I want to discuss with you guys is called the World Health Organization Standards for Sexuality and Education in Europe, okay? That is 2010. From this document, we see sex education from birth. Early childhood masturbation, age 0 to 4. Differentiate between good and bad secrets. Children cannot differentiate between good and bad secrets. Say yes or no. This is for kids under the age of 4, okay? So by the time you get to age 6 to 9, these children need to start thinking about their sexual intercourse. By the time they're 9, they are ready for it. So that is the World Health Organization 2010 document, guys. Then what we find is there's another document, which is the Sexuality Education in Asia, 2017. That document tells us that our government, UK, and India, signed up to the 2010 document that wants sex education from birth, masturbation, differentiating good and bad secrets, sexual intercourse by the age of 9. That's what they signed up for. This is what we're campaigning against, okay? So, as I said, now they signed up to in 2017 for it to come on the curriculum in England in 2019 and here in 2021. But now we've got an updated document, guys. It's called UNESCO, okay? Now, UNESCO will tell you on statement 1.3, it is a revised version of the World Health Organization document. Now, the UNESCO document is very misleading. We've got rights, we've got children's rights, bodily rights, sexual rights, exercising rights over your parental wishes and beliefs. It looks a lot better, guys, but like I said, statement 1.3 tells you it's an updated version of the document our government signed up to. So, these lessons began in September 2019 in England. Starting with the All About Me package, which also comes from the United Nations. I just read you a little part of the All About Me for children as young as 4. This was in 241 schools in England, okay? There are rules about touching yourself. Now, lots of people like to tickle or stroke themselves because it might feel nice. They might play with their hands, stroke their skin, or they may even touch their private parts. This is very normal. However, some people may get cross and say it's dirty, especially when you touch your own private. This is strange and it's really very normal. However, it's not polite to do it when other people are about. It's something we should do only when we are alone, perhaps in the bath or the shower or in bed. It's a bit like picking your nose. It's certainly not polite to do it in the class when everyone is watching. Now that last sentence I said there, it's certainly not polite to do it in the class when everyone's watching. When a child does that in the class, very often that child is being abused. They have programmed kids in 241 schools away from a spontaneous disclosure. They've taught the child in abuse. So no one single teacher pick up on that, right? But these teachers are trained in safeguarding. They're trained in safeguarding to the point that they can't even pick up on that. So what's that to do with us guys in Wales, right? We've got this beautiful RSC draft now. We've got these lovely studies in the back there schools are taking part in. But page 4 tells us to refer to UNESCO, the global rollout of sex education. Now we're a devolved government, okay? So all our policies, all our education system is supposed to be strictly for Wales. So why are we involved in a global rollout? Why are they denying we're involved in a global rollout when it quite clearly states to refer to UNESCO? Now the UNESCO document is made up of 87 studies. 29 of those were done in third world countries. Can you tell me, what does that have to do with the children of Wales? A lot of that research was done on AIDS and HIV. You tell me, what is that going to do with the children of Wales? Part of the children's sexual rights are, if a person has HIV and they want to have sex with someone without protection, they don't feel comfortable telling that person it's their sexual right not to disclose. So that's the kind of things we're dealing with here now with these documents that we are campaigning against, because they do not suit our country. They are dangerous. We've just taken you back to 2010, guys, okay? You need to go back further than 2010. Because the ideology behind this sex education is nasty. It is based on children being abused. So I want you all to go and look up the Kinsey report, which is a well-documented academic source where this education has come from, where they sexually abuse children. They timed how long it would take for a child to orgasm. That is where the research has come from for these documents. We've given the evidence to this government here. They can't be bothered to look at it. They either can't be bothered to look at it, or they are complicit. Okay, so it's up to you to make that decision. We have had some correspondence with the government, but I'm going to tell you what that is, because we've had some new stuff since then. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pass you on to Lucia, because Lucia's going to give you a little idea of what else is going on in the UK right now, in England and in Scotland.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, so the idea of the All About Me schools, which was piloted in England in 2018, if the content of that doesn't absolutely disgust you, then the content in the Scottish curriculum definitely will. So we've heard about the self-stimulation from as young as 6 years old in England. In the Scottish curriculum, we have got, I'm going to show you now what we have here. So in the Scottish curriculum, we have actually had access to education material. This education material gives children information about sexual activities that are so radical that me and my team had to look up some of the things ourselves. So straight away, they talk about oral sex. So what do you think about it? So they're talking about like the woman's vagina, vulva, or clitoris. So they're actually talking about sensations. The curriculum, actually, the education material is shown in a very, very colourful way, which is attractive to children. There's this guy here, and he talks about it, which actually does attract children into, it just looks attractive to children. In this, he talks about bestiality, as though it's normal, hard pornography, many other things. Also within the curriculum, they talk about threesomes, foursomes and moresomes, like it's something normal. Parents don't have an opt-out for this. Some families do not want their children to know about this content. Other things that they say is that there's no children about, isn't there? No children here. Other things they say is more orgasms than straight women during sex, with 25% of gay women saying they climax. There's also an education video showing Nutella with a banana going into it, showing how demonstrating anal sex, and this education is there for children. If you access the Scottish Party, Richard Lucas is the head of the Scottish Party. He is actually a former teacher, and he refused to teach what was in the curriculum because he said that it highly sexualised children and was inappropriate. He is now campaigning against that curriculum. If this is in Scotland, then it's going to come here as well, because Wales tends to follow the Scottish curriculum. So we want to stop this coming into Wales. Thank you.
I'm just going to talk a little bit now about some more recent cases that have been in the news to do with abuse in schools, coming both from those in the education and those that come from other children as well. A lot of people like to think that this is stuff of the past, that this doesn't go on now, but it very much does. Ampleforth College, a prestigious Catholic private school in Yorkshire, in November was banned for admitting any new students due to being unable to safeguard. In 2018, an independent inquiry into sexual abuse reported appalling abuse was inflicted on pupils over a 40-year period, but allegations were all covered up. Nigel Leake worked at Hillside First School when he was jailed in 2011 after admitting 36 offences, including rape on children as young as 6. Teachers said this had happened because of inadequate safeguarding training. In November 2020, after an inquiry, which 2011 to 2020, to have an inquiry on this is a very long time, the head of Children's Services released a statement. She concluded that adequate training was available to staff, but staff didn't go upwards and outwards, and that staff could have gone to a range of places for more information, but the culture of the school got in the way. Jonathan Clayton, a supply teacher in Stockholm Maltese, was jailed for 8.5 years the 13 counts of sexual assault on 6 pupils as young as age 7. 2 years earlier, an allegation in a previous school had been dropped. Not only did that new school withhold the information from the new school, it also recommended him to this school. Teacher Faye McRobbie was 25 when she groomed a 15-year-old pupil and abused him for 2 years, and she got a 2-year sentence with no sex register. This month, Alison Chilton pleaded guilty to criminal solicitation of a minor and third-degree criminal sexual conduct. She had a suspended sentence. These are the people who are in authority that are meant to be looking after our children, and they're getting dished out suspended sentences. Moving on to some universities. In November, it was reported that research by Unsafe Spaces Ending Sexual Abuse in Universities revealed that 50,000 incidents of sexual abuse or harassment take place in universities in England and Wales. They reported that a record number of teachers, one-third, are being struck off for sexual misconduct. It stated that it is fast becoming a public scandal. It also shone light onto sexual harassment and abuse by staff, including distinguished academics. Universities cover it up not to lose their star players. In one case, a student was repeatedly raped by an eminent professor, and she felt unable to report it for 4 years. It is estimated that 15% of females and 3% of males are abused while at university. 2 students from the Royal Welsh College of Music Drama, and I just want to repeat, this is all recent, what I'm talking about. 2 students from the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama said they felt silenced after their sexual assault. One student claimed it took 6 months for an allegation to be reported to the police, and the other student said that college lacked empathy and she felt like she was screaming into the abyss. A bit closer to home, Cardiff University regulations for reporting forbids victims to appeal their decision in their case, but will allow alleged perpetrators to. An FOI to Cardiff University asking for figures of reported incidences of rapes and sexual assaults. The university would like you to consider that has a student population of 31,000 and a student body staff of 7,000. Unwanted sexual contact, 2017 to 18, 76. 2018 to 19, 67. And then 2019 to 2020, 88. And then you have sexual assaults. 2017 to 2018, there were 54. 18 to 19, there were 63. And 2019 to 2020, it was 76. So the more educated we're getting in sexual abuse and sexual assaults and the Me Too movement, the higher the sexual assaults are going. Rape, Cardiff University, 2017 to 2018, 49. 18 to 19, 34. 2019 to 2020, 45. Now put all those figures together for each year. We've got approximately 150 for each of those every year. Then we move on to peer-on-peer. So we know that not only are teachers, sports coaches, school governors at risk for our children, but also other children are risks to our children. According to a recent government report, 6 out of 10 girls in the UK have been sexually abused at school. One strong factor behind the growing number of this is children's access to pornography. As we have just shown, in Scotland, pornography is encouraged. Within this framework, pornography is viewed as an alternative outlet for your sexual frustrations. In 2019, it was reported that a girl aged 6 had been getting sexually abused for 3 years in school by the same boy. He would pull down her underwear and touch her genitals in the playground, but yet it went unnoticed. In 2015, a girl aged 6 only spoke out when breaking down one morning because she could no longer sit down. She'd been getting sexually assaulted again on the yard for 6 weeks, and again it had gone completely unnoticed. And just touching us here, as somebody who's worked as a TA and I'm agency, I've gone into many primary schools, and when it does come to lunchtime and break time, many of the main teachers will have their lunch break. And those who are out on the yard are the TAs. They'll be, you know, your safeguarding, the main teacher that you have to have on the yard who does the first aid. But many of those on the yard are your TAs and your agency staff, who, apart from their half-a-day safeguarding, which they do online, you know, don't have much training to look out for these things. Panorama obtained figures from 30 police forces across the UK. It was revealed reports of children abusing children has rose by 71% between 2013 and 2017, with 456 rapes reported. In January, a Channel 4 probe into harmful sexual behaviour among school children found that nearly 7,000 cases of sexual assault and rape have been reported in schools in the last 3 years. Campaigners have called for specialist trainers to help teachers spot sexual abuse in the classroom. 50 primary school teachers were canvassed, and 57% of them said they felt unprepared in handling the issue and reported receiving no training, often leading to incidents being misunderstood. And just through my research, because I cannot put all my research onto a few of these papers, I would be here all day. But a lot of these allegations in school seem to be brushed under the carpet because they were simply misunderstood. And again, this framework is talking about consent and touch, and how many more incidents are actually going to be misunderstood because they were consenting to touch, or they're just doing what they're learning in the classroom. A charity called Tender told Channel 4 that they hear from teachers who are cracking under the pressure to do mainstream work, and then on top of this, they haven't got the training. Pat Brannigan of the NSPCC, the lead on harmful sexual behaviour, has said that it's vital that governments provide proper training so that schools can deliver effective and relevant training before the new RSC syllabus is brought in. There needs to be high standardised quality training to ensure all schools can confidently provide RSE lessons of a gold standard delivery and by a confident and engaged expert. That confident and engaged expert is going to be the teacher. The Children's Commissioner in England says additional funding is needed to bring specialists to train teachers and work with the children into the classroom. When are they going to tell us how much money they are releasing for the funding for the training of all these teachers for this sex education?
47 million.
Sexuality education in Europe and Central Asia, Kim mentioned it earlier, that is where we know that the government signed up to the WHO document in 2017. They did a study, out of the 53 countries that this sex education is already in place, they did a study of 25 of them. The UK was in this study. On teacher training, this is what they said. The training in teachers in sexuality education is the weak link in many countries. Only a handful of countries, notably Estonia and Finland, has training become institutionalised to the extent that it's become part of the teacher training curriculum. In most other countries, special in-house training is offered, but only a few teachers participate. Only a few countries, like Albania and Bosnia, have large numbers of teachers that have been on these courses, but in most countries, hardly any teachers have been trained at all. For the UK, it states, individual schools are responsible for ensuring teachers are appropriately prepared to deliver this sexual education. There is no national teacher training programme for this, and a small number of NGOs are willing to provide some resources. So these include the Family Planning Association, BISH, which I've only just started looking into this, is a guy called Justin Hancock, and he's an experienced sex and relationships educator, but I need to look a bit more into that. Then we have Durex, and we have Sexpression, who are a non-profit community RSHE organisation. So they run arts of relationship, sexual health education in the community. And they also, and this document also recommends that for teacher training, they should use the 2010 WHO document. So UNESCO is our guidelines for our policies, but I only discovered this last night. It would seem that the guidelines for teacher training are the 2010 WHO document. Now, other reports, according to Centre for Education, have shown that 43% of primary children have not reached adequate levels of reading, writing and maths. In 2019, reports showed 35% of children are failing at maths and English GCSEs, and how value and success is mostly based on how a child does in standardised tests. So if we have so many children failing in reading and writing and maths, why have we taken maths out of the curriculum? Why is that no longer a mandatory subject? English literacy, why isn't that in the curriculum? English maybe, but literacy isn't focused. Science, which teaches biology, which everybody is saying this is about body parts, this is children needing to know their body parts. This comes under biology. As Kim has already mentioned, this sex education is an ideology. It believes that children should have sexual awareness from birth, that they have a right to know that they are sexual human beings, that they should have agency in their own sexual practices and relationships. This is the ideology. This isn't evidence. This is an ideology. And as we've said, this ideology comes from the Kinsey Institute, run by Alfred Kinsey. And this is all trickled down. You do the research, you research the research and see who's writing these documents, and it all comes back to the Kinsey Institute. It is all linked to the UN and the World Health Organization. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a global sex education. It is in 53 countries. I've just told you some of the countries that it is in. How do we know what is going to end up in our classrooms here? Quite simple. We look at the 53 countries this is already in, and we see what they're teaching there. For some countries, this has already been getting taught for 7 years. Countries like California, where it is explicit. 9-year-olds are taught how difficult it is to make a woman masturbate. But so long as they keep practicing, they'll get there in the end. This is sexualizing our children. Pornography reduces the sensitivity to sex, to relationships. At no point is this saying sexual health, but the sexual health all refers to underage pregnancy and STIs. Where's their sexual mental health? Why aren't we talking to children about what it takes and what you give away and what happens when you sleep, when you have sexual intercourse with another person? This is not sports and activities. We've got to stop putting an adult view of sex onto children. Children right now, in every classroom, you're anywhere between 2 and 5 children with a disability in that classroom. Ask any of the other children in that classroom, do they know what disability the children in their classroom have got? What do they know about ADHD? What do they know about autism? They don't know. And yet, teaching the primary children about sex, that's what's important. Teaching them about what's in their classroom, educating the parents on that. There's so many places we are already failing in school. We are failing our SEND children. We are failing the children who are being bullied. And now just bring it into this, we're making it schools responsible for their sex education. We are handing the safeguarding of our children over to the children. Kids, this is how you protect yourself against sexual abuse. Don't worry that none of the adults have got a clue that you're going to tell. Don't worry that they're not going to know what they are talking about. or because it's happened in their family in the past that it's been brushed under the carpet, that they may then brush it under the carpet. It's saying about specialist trainers, I don't want Durex to be who is safeguarding my child. If my child has to learn about sexual abuse and safeguarding, let it be by somebody who is trained in this field. Sex abuse does not fall under sex education. Just because sex is in those two words, it is not the same. Sexual abuse is a pandemic on our planet. People need to realise how big this is, how deep it runs.
His son was arrested.
It is what is making our planet spin. The money in child abuse is far greater than any drug running. And people need to, because only when you wake up to the scale of child abuse on our planet will you really believe what we are saying is true.
Yeah.
You see this lovely liberal freeing of all these children. What we see is in 10 years' time, where we are debating in the Senedd whether we should be reducing the age of consent to 10 or 13. That's what this is going to lead to. Sex education starts at home. So educate the parents. Put it into pregnancy care, antenatal care. Start running groups, health centres, the family planning. Educate the parents on how to educate their children. Let school teach children what they should be teaching. Academics. We need to educate parents on sexual abuse. Where's the adverts on the TV for that? Saying, parents, do you know the dangers or the signs if your child is at risk? And they don't. So until we start educating them first, only then can we educate and protect the children. But it is not their responsibility to do it themselves. Here, have a roundabout education on good touch, good secrets, bad secrets. Even though the person that is abusing them has probably never told them they're in a bad secret, has never told them what they're doing is bad. They're saying it feels nice. And to that child, if it's being done by someone who is a good manipulator, that child is not going to know it is being abused. Even with this in school, it is not going to know it's being abused. Children are not going to know they are being abused until someone tells them straight in the face that no adult is ever allowed to touch you. There are certain places that nobody touches you. My daughter knows she is 7 years old. I don't touch her. The doctor doesn't touch her. Unless we have gone to the doctor for a specific problem, which is for that area. Nobody. She is at an age now, nobody touches her, ever. She knows, what if they tell you they'll hurt me? Is a lie. What if they say they'll hurt you? Is a lie. What if they say I'll get taken away or someone else? It is a lie. You need to teach your children that animals, that adults are cruel, that they lie. And many adults out there want to hurt children. And they need to know it is not the stranger that their parents are telling them about all the time. 90% of children who are abused by someone they know and they love and they trust. And this slapdash of sexual abuse prevention that they're saying is in this is not going to solve that. Not when they love their abuser far more than they love their teacher who is giving them half-assed things that could be happening to them. This is not it. We need a sex education and we need a reform of child protection and safeguarding in this country.
Yes, we do.
And we, Public Child Protection Wales, are going to be the ones to kick it off. I'm going to hand back over to Kim now.
Did I just love that? I just want to point something out, guys. Public child protection Wales are strangers to each other. We met in August when all this started kicking off. So I'm really pleased to be part of the team, the incredible women. Right, guys, I'm going to talk to you about our government now. Because obviously we were aware of this education long before it came to the UK, okay? So we've always been aware of it, like Adele said, it's rampant in California. I'll give you an example of California. In 2015, there was a book on bondage on the kindergarten shelves, okay? It took a year of campaigning to remove that book, and then they legislated in 2019, guys. This is why we cannot accept policy changes. This is why we cannot accept discussions on the materials used. It needs to come off the curriculum bill, then we'll have discussions. So what we did, guys, when we found out now this was coming into our country, we asked the children, the education minister, Kirsty Williams, what her skills and qualifications are, okay? In these files here, you will find every single letter and document that we have, okay? We carry evidence on us. There's a letter there telling us that 5,000 civil servants are on this education. 5,000 civil servants, researchers, they'll all be working hard on it, okay? Freedom of Information Request tells us there was no researchers, no contractors, just Welsh Government, okay? So we know now that she's a liar. We know she's got no qualifications, and they lie. So we went a step further. We wanted to know who took part in these talks in 2017, okay? So we've done a Freedom of Information request. We've sent it off about 5 times. It keeps bouncing back to us. They want more information. They want more information? They've told us the Welsh Government wrote it. We want to know who sat there and had the conversations. But they want more information off us. Now my favourite, the chair of the Education Committee, Lynn Needle. Lynn Needle is Lara's representative, or whatever she wants to call herself, okay? When this first came up, guys, and I sent the group up on Facebook, Lara, again, another stranger, she went straight to Lynn Needle, and she said, Lynn, what's going on here? Lynn, we've got it in writing, mind, we've got all this in writing, okay? Lynn replies, there is a parental opt-out. We found a letter online between Lynn and Kirsty discussing the no parental opt-out and how it goes against our rights, okay? So that was another line, isn't it? After that, she slightly backtracked, and Lara said to her, we've got this in writing as well, guys, okay? If you don't support us in this RSE, we are not supporting you in the election. You ever guess what her reply was?
I'll take my chances.
I'll take my chances. Wow. That's how sure they are. 20 years she's been in this building. I didn't know she existed until this. That's how influential Lynn Needle is. Let's move on. Susie Davis. Now I thought she's another member of the Education Committee, and I thought Susie Davis was quite a clever woman, okay? So I've sent, this is it, guys, we've sent all this evidence to everyone in here, okay? Everyone's got this evidence. So the fact they haven't looked into it, or they're ignoring it, again, negligent or complicit. Susie Davis emailed back. Do you know what Susie Davis said, guys? The hierarchy of rights. The children's rights override the parents' rights. Okay, yes, that's fair enough. What about sexual rights then, Susie? Where do the sexual rights come into that? And with that email, I sent a video of a 6-year-old child consenting to pleasurable activity with her father. And I showed her their policies in practice. We've had no reply. No reply at all. David Rees, he's my representative. He's another knitted condom as well. I hope I have integrity for you to vote for me. Never. Torvine Council. Torvine Council. Elizabeth Haynes put in a question about this RSE. Torvine Council read a lovely script. They are all reading lovely scripts. All we want is evidence. All we want is evidence to prove. Because I'm a criminologist, okay? I've got a degree in social policy. I'm very well educated in child sex abuse, exploitation, harmful sexual behaviour, models of offenders, perpetrators of abuse. But we're just confused. We're just confused. We've got all this evidence here, but they can't provide evidence to back themselves. So I just want to name and shame another one. My state mayor, Andrew James, sent in this information 3 times, sent it for myself, sent it on behalf of other people, he keeps ignoring it. But then he's put a picture on Facebook posing for children in need.
Oh, wow.
So we got Nats Cymru, the National Association of Head Teachers. They haven't got back to us. They responded to us through the consultation. Oh, the parents might be a bit confused. There's nothing confusing here. The Children's Commissioner, guys. The Children's Commissioner. So again, we sent it off to the Children's Commissioner 2 emails later. Where did she do a response? Oh, she responded, all right. About, this is a child's right to education. Okay? So our Children's Commissioner is telling us this is their right to education. My response to her, I have to assume that she properly investigated this because she is the Children's Commissioner. Okay?
Exactly.
So, you know, you have to assume she's investigated it. So knowing she's investigated it, she's read consent, but consent is raping kids. I think we've got a problem with our Children's Commissioner.
Yeah.
So I told her. Well, from that, she responded through the consultation report, okay? And her response is, this needs to be implemented as a matter of urgency. Before these take the rights away from the parents who need to read it. So she's come out fighting in our consultation report. But like I told her, once this campaign is over, we'll be going back for her. That is not acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
So, for a little bit of balance, guys, I just wanted to do a few thank yous here. We've got Caroline Jones. From day one, she did not want this education. She was told it's about kindness. Got Mandy Jones as well, straight away in a meeting, took on board everything, took every single document, looked into it herself. She's supporting us. We got Dave Rowlands as well. He was there straight away in the meetings, online meetings, took away all the evidence, looked into it himself. He supports us. Elizabeth Haynes is a councillor from Torvine. She is the first councillor to actually put in a request about this. She's just had a script. Then we've got Scott Jones, who is the mayor of Leith. He's been fantastic. He's taken the evidence, he's researched it, he's on board. Alan Williams, caseworker from the Senedd, Bridget Hall, Paul Dowson, Tom, and Stan. That's all. That's that. So, when we were here the week before last, we were here because they were releasing a report on the consultation. So they published our results, guys, and out of the 65 recommendations of our report they published, recommendation 24 is, with a matter of urgency, to launch a campaign against us and our misinformation.
Bring it on!
Misinformation. So, the files are there. The files are there. So we were really tired when we got over there. I mean, it was late when we discovered this report online, right? So we were flicking through and I said, we've got to zoom this, we've got to zoom and record this, right? So we did. We zoomed and recorded everything, which I'm glad we did. You know why? They've taken it down. They've taken it down and replaced that report with a 40-page report I found this morning. But it's a good job we've already downloaded it, okay? So that will be on our website tonight, guys, right? So I just want to point something out now. We've discussed safeguarding a lot, right? And there's a little statement in there now from the Education Minister. And this is what she was asked. Point 418. When asked what safeguards exist within the bill, or more widely, to seek to ensure RSC is designed and delivered in a way that is objective and critical and heuristic, the Minister pointed to, are you ready for this? The first point of safeguarding in this RSC is the name change. The name change. That is her first point of safeguarding on this. But I will add, in the brackets she did say, to ensure a broadening of the subject and concepts should be included. That is our Education Minister on that 331-page document. The number one safeguarding point is the name change. Are they having a laugh or what? Well, anyway, we filmed ourselves going through all this, guys. Like I said, we will put the document on our website for later on. The further 2 points of safeguarding are The requirements for statutory code setting and the core learning, which she described, an exceptional approach to reflect the important cultural, moral and ethical issues inherent to the teaching of RSE within a curriculum that largely seeks to be non-prescriptive. But then they want to tell you that the bill only mandates sex education from age 3 to 16. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. The Children Commissioner, what does she say about it? This lays a solid foundation for sex education. But it's telling you, it only mandates from age 3 to 16. That's all the bill does. The bill does nothing else. The curriculum bill is just mandating sex education age 3 to 16. It tells you it hasn't designed anything. They are telling you they're not going to design it. They're selling it to you, but they're not going to show you what it is until 2022. We already know what it is. We already know what it is. So, that campaign of misinformation, we've asked them for a debate. We've asked them for 40 minutes of their time. They rejected our petition. Rejected. The first petition we put in, guys, they removed the links for the sex and the sexual rights. And they replaced it with an advert for abortions. We are not getting our opportunity to speak, okay? We've rejected this twice in online polls. 96% of us didn't want it the first time, 87.6% the second time. We've gone through the consultation, and rather than come out here now and say to you lot, guys, you're being led up a garden path, and this is the reason why.
Yeah, exactly.
They would rather launch a campaign, which will probably be emails through the school or whatever, to myth bust. Myth bust. Well, we've got the documents here, let's myth bust.
Yeah.
They will not come anywhere near us. We've been blocked on social media. We've been threatened. We've been called abusive. And by the way, we've got all the screenshots as well.
Well done, Kim.
Yeah, guys, so basically now, that 331-page report has been replaced with a 40-page document, okay? But the fact that we were recommendation 24 out of 65, that tells us we are fighting.
Yeah.
That tells us we are making some progress. No matter how much they are trying to silence us, okay, we know we are making an impact, all right? And this isn't a fair fight, and this isn't a fair campaign. Okay, a normal campaign, guys, you can come down here, you can campaign, you have a fair playing field. We have not had a fair playing field. We have been manipulated. In the RSE draft, we had the parental opt-out. From the RSE draft to the curriculum bill, we've lost our parental opt-out. Where is it? Where is it? Because we also have academic research going back long before this report was published in 2014, explaining how dangerous it is to remove parental opt-out. This is a document by Professor David Payton. I think he's just confused. I think he must just be confused. So time and time again, guys, we keep getting told these are evidence-based, evidence-based, evidence-based. They are not evidence-based, okay? Another part of their campaign against us is it's a global movement. Yes, it is a global movement. The document tells you that itself, okay? Now, you guys have got a list. We've got 34 convictions here, right? We've got councillors, policymakers, MPs, school governors, school teachers, and all these people on this list have been convicted of sexual attacks, assaults, and rapes on children. You will also find on this list a Children's Commissioner. Like I said, I think we've got a problem about Children's Commissioners. We've got a Children's Commissioner in Ireland who's pally with Peter Tarcham, who likes to talk about sex with 9-year-old boys, possibly being harmless. But there's no malice in this, guys. There's no malice in this at all. There's no deviance in this. This is safeguarding. They would never do that. They would never implement something like that. They are, and they have, globally. Okay, guys? You want an idea of what's coming into our country? You look around. Because like Adele said, California is right for them, so is Texas. Texas has just put paedophilia on their curriculum. Please guys, do not take what we say at face value. You research everything. You look at absolutely everything, okay? We're not technical people. We haven't got these technology skills, but we're learning, okay? We're trying our best for this country. So if you go on our website, you'll see we've got one page with the education on, right? Our story is on there, everything is on there. Everything is underlined, takes you through to the original documents. We did not write these documents. We did not publish them, we did not print them. We do not want them. We want them gone from this country before they even come in. That is not a Welsh education. That is not safeguarding. That literally is a sex education. Before I finish up, I want to just point out one thing, guys. I've got a massive problem here now. Like I said, the teachers can't even pick up the barnet disclosure in our sexual stimulation. They don't even know consent is rape in kids. They don't even know consent is rape, for God's sake. If they do not know basic concepts like this, we've got a problem, okay? We've only just got this definition of child sexual exploitation, which covers people over the age of 16 and people who consent, because it's recognised that they could be sexually exploited. They are still children under the age of 18 in this country. Yet, we want them to express themselves. We want them to exercise their sexual rights. We want them masturbating at the age of 4. We want porn, bondage, threesomes. By the time they're 11, what the hell is going on? We've got all these rapes in school, sexual assaults. Our teachers aren't trained for anything. None of this. I'm a dictionary brother myself. I can tell you 100%. I fight for families day in, day out, to honour their statements, to fight for statements, to fight for diagnosis. We've got a 2-year waiting list in CAMS, yet our RSC draft is telling us CAMS are going to be there at hand. CAMS are going to be there to save the day. Guys, I beg you do one thing. I beg you go home, you look at everything we've shown you. Don't believe us, don't believe them. You look at the stuff and you make up your own mind, okay? You make up your own mind, and I want to see every single one of you down here February the 5th. Because February the 5th, we've got a massive surprise. And I mean a massive surprise. And I think you're all going to be impressed with that. It's going to be something that Senedd has never ever seen before. And we are going to be proud to be part of it. Because you know why? We are not giving up. We are not giving up. Even if that gets royal assent, dear John, these lot are gone, okay? That is not coming into our schools. Education is not a gift from government. Education is bought and paid for by us. In 2014, they told us education became at home. In 2020, they're taking it all away from us. They're saying there's the potential for abuse at home. What about abuse in institutions? Where's that boy who reported sexual abuse and Neil McAvoy got suspended? Where's the child stuck in a children's home that reported sexual abuse? They've done nothing about that. They suspend the counsellor going to investigate it. So like Adele said, these issues are not historical issues, okay? Nothing has been dealt with, nothing's been sorted. Our safeguarding procedures are a load of crap. And public child protection was going to fix it all.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank all of you that have come today. Look, even on the 5th, again, this isn't just about the curriculum bill and the sex education. My newsfeed is full of parents stressed out because of the government's handling of COVID in schools. Parents are tearing their hair out. Yet last night, I'm talking to all these parents. Well, come down, stand with us tomorrow. Show the government, tell them you are not happy with what is happening in schools. Yes, some people are all for it. Some people want the schools closed down. Other people can't understand why isolation is for some children, not for children. Whole year groups going down, education being disrupted. But yet none of those people are here today. The parents that I know personally, and those who I don't, who are struggling because their SEND children are not getting the one-to-one support that they need in school. And when they do, they get an agency staff member who is not trained in SEND. This is failing, the government is failing those kids. To all the children, all the parents who are saying that their child is being bullied and the schools are just not dealing with it and the perpetrators are being more protected than the victims, come and tell your government that these bullying policies are not working. This is not just about sex education. This is not. Schools have got problems in many, many areas. And it is no good parents just moaning about it on social media. The people you are moaning about are not looking at your status. The only people who's looking at your status is the other pissed off parents. Get down here, not just that, teachers. Those of you who are saying that you are cracking under the pressure. Come down, join us. Teachers, we need you to tell your government how they are failing you in schools. The 5th of February, we have got to come down again because we are not going to stop and we are not going to give up. But we are here to talk about everything with education. We are here to talk everything which is safeguarding when it comes to children. So whatever your concerns are, whatever your worries are, whatever your opinions are, come and join us. This is your government. These are who write in the policies for schools. These are who are setting the standards in schools. So if you're not happy, come and tell them. Come stand with us and tell them that change needs to happen. You might support the sex education, but you think the bullying is terrible, or you have a SEND child. Whatever it may be, us parents need to be united. We are a devolved government, which should be providing a Welsh education to our Welsh children, not implementing global education. So stand with us, let's stand together, let's stand united. As Kim said, we pay the taxes for our children's education. It is not a gift from the government. They do not get to choose what they teach our child. They do not get to choose the runnings of the schools. This should be done by parents and teachers. We need to start working together. They are not the controllers. They are supposed to work for us, not us for them and do as we are told. So thank you again all for coming. Again, please, the 5th of February, we need you all down here. We have to stand together. So thank you again. And again, I just want to thank Voices of Wales. Some of you are there. Thank you so much for the support that you have been giving us. Wake Up UK as well, the support that those guys have given us. And just thank you all so much, and just keep spreading and just keep asking people to research. And the only way this word is going to get around is you talking to your neighbour about it. So just talk to people. Thank you.
Yes.